Welcome back to Psycho Opinion. You're watching just one part of a breakdown and discussion of the Wrong Turn franchise. Your discretion is advised, and there are spoilers ahead. Comment, like, and subscribe if you enjoy this video, and stay to the end if you would like to see a remastered, re-envisioned Wrong Turn trailer done by Psycho Opinion. Thank you. We are about to continue our Wrong Turn Psycho Opinion movie marathon deep dive discussion. And we are up to Wrong Turn 6, which is titled Last Resort, which was made in 2014. So in the sixth installment, which is this one we're talking about, Wrong Turn 6, Last Resort, Danny discovers his long-lost family as he takes his friends to Hobbs Springs, a forgotten resort deep into the West Virginia hills. Danny then has to choose between his family or his friends, as they are being killed by his family one by one. The film doesn't follow the continuity of its predecessors and serves as a reboot instead. They actually refer to this one as like a reboot. So even though it is a sequel, it's also kind of a reboot. So we need to keep that in mind while we discuss it. Because it is
Okay.
Wrong Turn 6. It's not like they, named it something totally different. So in that, to me, it does serve as a type of sequel. But they
Yeah.
also do kind of rewrite the rules in a major way in this one. So I could see this one being seen separately, if that makes sense, kind of from the others. That is my description of the movie. I'm sure Jen has more details, and then we'll kind of get into our notes and how we felt about it.
Okay. So it starts off on an Appalachian bike trail with a guy and a girl biking together. They have sex, and one of the cannibals watches them. Afterwards, he gets an arrow through the face. She gets barbed wire. Ding, ding,
Barbed
ding.
wire, up, taking a
Barbed
shot.
wire. Across the eyes. Then she gets decapitated. Guess they found their barbed wire again.
Yeah. Oh, barbed wire.
Yep. Now we meet our true cast of characters. There's two guys and a girl traveling to the Hobbs Springs Hotel. One has inherited the hotel. Three more guys and one girl also came to stay. They meet a sister and brother who are caretakers of the place, and we see early on that they are incestuous. There is also a horny old lady staying at the hotel. This was a little bit of comic relief, I guess. And there is a little of that throughout. She doesn't last long, though. The cannibals are hiding in the hotel and they throw a hatchet into her torso. Some of the friends look around and find the hot springs pool. We learn that some of this guy's friends are money hungry bitches. That's what I say.
Bitches.
Money hungry bitches.
Bitches.
We also learn that the main guy is related to the cannibals. He never knew much about his family, and you can tell he really wants to be a part of something and have a purpose. The caretaker guy teaches Danny how to hunt. Kind of a cool scene because he's really training him to hunt people and be more like his family. Danny gets caught in a barbed wire trap. Barbed wire.
Drink up.
um, yeah. Um, the barbed wire trap in the woods, and the caretaker woman helps to clean his wounds while also putting the moves on him. Just
Yeah.
putting the moves on him.
Yeah.
You like how I put that?
She was kind of milfy.
Yeah. Um, so then his girlfriend walks in. Uh, oh, I'm sorry, I jumped ahead. Yep, gets caught on wire. And the caretaker woman helps clean his wounds while putting the moves on him. Then his girlfriend walks in on them. And she gets like a little upset, but then them
But
two have
not upset
sex.
enough,
Yeah,
in my
not upset
opinion.
enough for
Yeah,
them
like
two
she
to have
definitely
sex
walked in
now.
a yeah. She definitely walked into a risque moment.
Yeah, she like gets like a bit jealous, and I guess maybe that turns her on. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some people are into that.
Some
Uh,
people are into that.
the greedy friend and her brother, and I'm sorry, her greedy friend and her boyfriend look through the antiques and they're trying to find ones they can steal and sell. As they deeper into the hotel, they find some kind of sex arena. I didn't know what else to call it. Sex arena, with
Yeah,
stirrups,
it's
in the
definitely
middle
a
of the
sex
room.
arena.
You like that? Sex arena?
Yeah, I do like that. I'm trying to think
Yeah.
of another
Another term. I just couldn't
term,
think of
but
any.
I do like it.
Yeah.
It's not
Um,
really a dungeon. It's like
yeah,
I
I
mean,
wouldn't say it's a dungeon
it
either. I
almost
don't
reminds
know.
me of one of
It's a
it
culty
almost
thing,
reminds yeah, it
right?
almost reminds me of one of those creepy rooms that they used to like watch surgeries in.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
That
something like that,
observation room?
a sex
Maybe that's it.
observation arena.
Observation. I like arena. I
I'm gonna
don't know
stick with that.
why. Arena is more like a battle. There's like a battle
Yeah,
happening usually, but anyway,
it's a fucking battle, Jen.
it's a it's a weird word choice, but I'm gonna go with it. Um, so in the sex arena, there's stirrups in the middle of the room and sex statues placed here and there. Of course, they both have sex right there,
Right
because that
there.
apparently, turns them on. But they don't know that the
It
cannibals
is a
are
sex
watching.
arena.
The cannibals are always watching.
They
Okay,
watch a lot of fucking. I mean, a lot of
always
sex.
watching.
Let's keep it clean.
This is their porn. Okay, watching these other people have the sex in all these various places in Wrong Turn. This is their porn. They don't have the internet.
They
this,
don't have the internet.
this is how they do it. Um,
They almost had the internet in the last one though, because they were definitely like
mm,
intelligent enough to use a smartphone.
yeah. So of course, yeah, they both have sex right there. But they don't know that they're watching. They hit them on the head with the sex statue and hold her down while one breaks her leg off and eats it. Well, that was a pretty good scene.
Yeah, I can see
Um,
that.
yeah. A bit later, we see the guy that was hit on the head with the statue is still alive, but brain damaged. The incestuous caretaker woman, I wish I could remember her name, I do not, um, starts having sex with him naturally because these people are freaking horny. They're
They
so horny.
love.
It's like
They're very
literally
horny
anything will
people.
turn them on.
So horny.
Yeah. So yes, you can be so horny you can't sleep. Also, these hormones and their effect on the brain is directly related to decreased self-awareness and non-rational behavior. It's why during sex you can sometimes do or say things that later you are like, giggle, giggle, I cannot believe I ever said that.
Yeah. But her brother comes in and tells her to wait for the important one, the important person. So instead, she smothers brain damaged guy with a pillow while she masturbates on that pillow as she murders him.
She was Sally,
Definitely
right?
a memorable part of this movie.
I think she was Sally.
Sally, that sounds right.
Yeah,
Seems like a Sally.
Sally.
Um, so the caretakers take Danny to meet the rest of his family and learn more about his birthright. They tell him they keep their family strong by sticking to their own, by continuing to inbreed. At first, it was tradition, but then it became a ritual. They believe it has preserved and cleansed their bloodline. Lately, they have been having problems with miscarriages and stillborn babies. That's why they need him. They need his blood and sperm to keep the family strong and continue. They give him blood to drink. The drugs in the blood, I guess they put drugs in the blood, start to kick in, and he begins to hallucinate. He has sex with his sister, um,
There's
which,
definitely a little blue pill in that blood.
blue pill, yeah. Um, something. I assumed it was like a roofie because he imagines his girlfriend, right? He like hallucinates that it's his girlfriend, but really it's
Yeah.
like his sister, who we just found out is his sister, right?
Is that his
Now,
sister?
is his half sister? I want to say it might be a half sister. I don't
Because the
remember
weird
exactly.
part to me was it's like,
It's incestuous in some way.
yeah, it's definitely
More
incestuous.
incest, more.
I mean,
All
these
of it.
movies are really riddled with incest.
Yeah. So yeah, he has sex with his sister. He thinks he's having sex with his girlfriend, because he was drugged. His remaining two friends and girlfriend see the caretaker cooking human flesh. They are attacked by the cannibals. One friend they torture with a giant water hose. Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Comic relief.
Yeah,
They put it up to his butt, making his stomach expand and explode.
they definitely put it in his butt.
Yeah, definitely his butt. This part, of course, made me laugh. The other friend gets caught in an animal trap and stabbed in the head. Well, that's just boring. That's not, getting a hose up your butt.
Well, after the hose in the butt, you really can't
Yeah,
do better than that.
right.
So,
So the girlfriend fights Danny's sister. So there's like a cat fight. She learns about the incestuous sex and her wanting a baby from her boyfriend. The girlfriend pushes his sister into some fire water, which burns her face. Danny gets angry that she's trying to kill his family. He tells her to leave. His brother catches her and almost kills her, but Danny tells her to run. The girlfriend kills his brother. This angers Danny, and he lets the cannibals kill her. So he's like all over the place. Like at first he's like, "Oh, mercy" or whatever, and then he's like, "Nope." He's like going like back and forth. So some time has passed now, and the hotel is full of new guests. Danny is running it now and has started on an all-protein buffet in the dining room. People are raving about it and saying it is helping them lose weight. The cannibals work in the kitchen, and then they go to the sex ritual arena, and they watch Danny have sex with his sister again, attempting to create a new family member. That's what I got.
yeah, tons of incest.
There's lots more sex in this one. It's like almost all sex.
Yeah, if you're into incest, you should definitely check this one out. You're gonna dig it. I'm not gonna judge. I won't know that you did it, so it's okay.
So, what I'm wondering, um, you know, there's that whole trend in porn, where they have like a lot of like step siblings or whatever.
Mhm.
I'm wondering if the uptick of that is why they made this storyline. I wonder if it coincides. I will not probably ever do the research on that. Like
I think
actually
it just
look that up.
coincides. I think it just coincides because people are sick weirdos.
Yeah.
But it's okay because that's part of the thing about being human is that like we're all kind of sick weirdos. We just all do it in private. And that's the
Mhm.
thing is like right now we're gearing up for well, we're in the middle of political season. We've got an election this year,
Mhm.
and that's one thing that they try to drum up people's personal stuff, and a lot of times it really does impact the way that we think about the candidates or the way that we vote. But realistically, I'm here to tell you, I think that we all have some weird and sick tendencies. Quite honestly, I think if everybody knew everybody else's personal stuff, we would all be up for criticism, if you will.
Mhm.
I mean, some definitely is more mild than others, but I mean, come on, we all left to our own devices. We're all a little weird. So I just want to make that point here.
I do not disagree with that. I've always said that I feel like we all have a little bit of madness in us. Like the Alice in Wonderland quote, we're all mad here. Was always my favorite quote.
Or we could go with
Yeah.
the classic
Mm,
Norman Bates. We all go a little
mm,
mad sometimes.
yeah, there's that one. Very, very
That one's,
similar.
that one's better. Um,
Really,
all
I
right.
think the Alice in Wonderland one came first.
It doesn't matter though
So,
because Norman Bates said it, and we all know how I feel about Norman
yeah.
Bates and Psycho. So uh, Beats. You know what though? It probably doesn't. I don't know. The kid in me though. I love the cartoon Alice in Wonderland.
It was good.
So that's classic to me. So I'd have to say that they're probably equal in some weird way, just in different ways, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. Um, but other than that, though, like Psycho kicks the shit out of Alice any day. So my notes for this are: this one is not bad. Just forget most of the history of the three brothers that you have learned so far, and that is kind of why they say it's a reboot. There is more suspense and mystery building up in this movie than the others. There are new normal, actually fairly attractive characters that are somehow related to the freaks in this one, which I don't understand because it's like it reminds me of how people think about evolution, how it's like monkey than man. It's
Mhm.
like if you have if they're all living at the same time and there's all these freakishly deformed people, and then you have a couple of like attractive normal ones, it's like how are they?
I mean, I
How,
think that's
like
possible, yeah.
how? Like how is
Well,
that?
I don't really know the exact science behind it, but if you can have perfectly like normal type people to have, a baby that might have some deformities,
No, I'm
um,
sorry, but the
then
deformity
I
of
think
the
you can
rest of
flip it and it also happen the other way because
no.
they just got genetically lucky,
No,
these people.
I think that the deformities of the other people, it was like you had the two attractive ones, and then everybody was seriously deformed. And I feel like deformities like that take generations
Mm,
to like get that way. I mean,
yeah.
it's like generations of inbreeding that causes, because you got to think about that. Like most of those, deformations and everything. I mean, those are different genetic traits that would take generations to collect that much of,
Hmm.
basically the genetic disaster, for lack of better terms.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't see how that happened. It's kind of like believing that evolution literally was a monkey and then it was just a dude, like the next generation. Like it doesn't make any sense. Um, I mean, I think evolution makes sense, but I think that there would have had to have been like hundreds of steps in between, uh, monkey to man, if you will.
Yeah.
So the film introduces an ancestral brother and sister that want to keep their bloodlines pure. So they reach out to the distant relative who has no understanding of his history or who he really is. I'm not sure why. It is understood that the newcomer to the family inherited the once hospital, now spa, and hotel. I kind of don't understand why the brother and sister didn't inherit it and why they wanted someone else in the first place. The brother dies, and at some point, and then the sister is left to fully seduce Danny, which is the relative.
Mm.
The three brothers seemed to evolve in this movie. It was once in a tasteful way. This film is also very different and is considered a standalone or direct sequel to the first, rewriting a
Mm.
timeline like so many are doing. I think it was enjoyable as far as the series goes. So I did read somewhere that this one could also qualify as like if you took out all the other movies and just watched the first one and then this one,
Hmm.
it like stands together as a direct sequel to the first Wrong Turn.
To the first one.
Yeah, so like they do that a lot with movies. Like I don't know if you've ever come
Hmm.
across that before. I was discussing that in the last one with like for example, Texas Chainsaw does that, where it's like,
Mm.
okay, like this sequel here is only related to the first one. So if you
Hmm.
take out
Oh yeah.
all of the other ones, it's like the first one and now this sequel that was
Yeah.
made way later. So I did read that you can do that with this. You can do
Ah,
Wrong Turn 1 and then this one. Um,
I didn't
I
even
really,
realize
really
that.
enjoyed. I really enjoyed this one. I like this one a lot, actually. I thought that the storyline was pretty decent. I thought
Hmm.
that the
Agreed.
acting was better than most. Not quite as good as the first one, but better than most. And I mean, I did think some parts were a little iffy. Like it's kind of weird to me the idea, and I know that there's like the psychedelic blood and all of that, but it's kind of weird to me to think that somebody would have like these very close friends. And I understand he had like a very strong desire to know his family and where he came from and
Hmm.
everything. That was part of the plot, but like who would have these like long-term friends and just like choose these basically strangers who are your family, but
Yeah.
basically strangers for the most part after like 2 days?
Well, I mean, to be honest, half of his friends were kind of shitty.
Yeah, they were kind of shitty.
So
Yeah,
there's
they
that.
were. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Um, but you still have history
But
with
his
these people.
girlfriend, though, I mean, she didn't seem shitty.
No,
And
she seemed very supportive actually. Like she was more
yeah,
supportive than she should have been.
yeah,
Like
agreed.
honestly, she probably should have been like, screw you at some point to
Mm.
this guy.
She probably knew like just how much he wants like family. And I think it was that was the big thing. He really wanted family. He had never really had that. So
uh,
that was like the driving force.
have fun with those people at a barbecue. It seems like a blast. Like, oh, they're all, where's the family today? Oh, they're off watching campers fuck. Um, yeah, I don't know. It was strange. I did like the fact that Doug Bradley was not in this. Um,
Yeah.
I I thought it was fun. I thought this one was kind of fun. I like this one.
Hmm.
This one is more towards the better than the worst to me, quite honestly.
Yeah. Um, this one was, I don't know, like kind of mid-range, I think, for me.
Really? Okay.
Like I didn't
That's
like
fair.
love it. I liked some aspects of it. Like I liked some aspects of it better than I liked, some of the other ones. Um, in comparison. But yeah. Are you ready for me to talk about my thoughts? Were you done?
Yeah, no, I definitely want to hear your thoughts. Please.
Okay. Well, like you said, this one has a more fleshed out storyline.
Yep.
Pun
Fleshed
intended.
out.
So it kind of reminds me of this mini series that I watched like a while back, called Flowers in the Attic. It's also books. It's
Oh yeah,
this
they.
mini series. Yeah.
By the way, I'm a huge fan of Flowers in the Attic.
Are you?
Have you
Yeah,
ever?
me
Yeah,
too.
have you ever seen the trilogy that they made? That
Yes, I
actually
have.
go.
This is
Okay.
the mini
Yeah.
series I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
good. I actually have
It
that as well
is.
in my in
Yeah.
Jake Buster here movie
Mhm.
collection.
So not just the incest, which of course that is a common factor. But like, there's a giant mansion, there's greed. Well, mansion,
Mm,
it's like a mansion. It's pretty much a mansion.
okay.
There's greed, there's generational incest, of course, there's dysfunctional family. Uh, you know, it's sort of similar storylines. It's just
Not so many
no
freaks in
cannibals.
Flowers. Yeah,
Yeah.
no cannibals or freaks.
Yeah.
And yeah, wow, that is a really good correlation, and that is another reason why I love doing this show with you. Is you find these correlations that are super interesting to me that I didn't even think about.
Yeah. This one obviously has a lot more sex in it. So much more.
So much more
The
sex.
Yeah,
All the sex.
I did think the acting was pretty good.
Sexomino.
The effects are also pretty good. There's some creative kills, like the
Hose in the
butthole
butt.
scene. Yeah, which definitely made me laugh. Um, doesn't feel This movie didn't feel very low budget to me. It felt not like super high budget either, but it felt like it was like a little bit higher of a budget than some of the other ones that I've seen.
I'm gonna
Some
go
of the
ahead
ones I
and
didn't
say that
like.
I'm gonna go ahead and say something that we said in the beginning of this
Hmm.
movie marathon deep dive, and I would say that this movie also felt like there was more care put into it, in my
Hmm.
opinion. More,
Yes.
I mean, not only budget, but
Agreed.
just kind of like more thought, maybe like
Hmm.
better writing, more care. Like I feel like this was somebody's baby when they were working on it, whereas some of the other ones just felt like, hey, let's make a movie.
Yeah.
So
Like some of the other ones, it was like a lot of things just felt like an afterthought or like the cheap writing that we
yeah,
were talking about.
yeah.
Yeah.
But no, this one, I see what you're saying. I think this one did have some more love to it. It definitely had a
Hmm.
lot more going for it as far as probably the budget and as far as like actually giving a shit about the finished product.
Yeah. I really liked the ending too.
Yeah.
I thought the ending was fun. Um, so I feel like this one also doesn't really have a wrong turn at the beginning. Do you remember a wrong turn? Because I remember him going specifically to this spa, whatever it's called, hotel type place, um, specifically because he's inherited it. There was no wrong turn.
But once again, metaphorically, I think having sex with a family member is a wrong turn.
There you go.
I
I like
mean,
it. I like it.
I don't know. I feel like if I lived a perfectly normal life and then met like, cousin Sally or sister Sally or half sister, whatever Sally was, I feel like having sex with her would be a definitely like a philosophical and metaphorical wrong turn in my life.
Yeah,
Um, I
a wrong
don't
turn
think
in
that I,
life. I
yeah,
like it.
I don't think I want to do that. But it's, yeah, it's definitely interesting though because and ironic even. I felt like it was ironic that the sister, whoever, like as I had commented earlier, she was kind of milfy and she ended up deformed.
Hmm.
That was kind of interesting. Um,
It's kind of fitting.
yeah, it's kind of fitting, and then it
Yeah.
and then it kind of made him like the only normal one there.
I almost kind of want to do like some sort of disclaimer or something too about deformities
Uh-oh.
because I know that it's possible that we could have like uh, people that listen or view us talking about this subject
Yeah.
and kind of get the wrong idea. But keep in mind that when we're talking about the deformities, we are talking about it like in the space of these films. Like, I don't think that Jake or I think that anybody or everybody with deformities are bad people, because they are not.
No, not,
So
absolutely not.
I did feel like I wanted to make that clear, at least in one of these episodes,
Yeah.
because, you know, like, I just don't want anybody to think that we think ill of people that have
No.
deformities.
And we definitely don't
So.
think that your deformities, if you have any, are from incest.
Right.
It's not assumed.
Yes.
I
You
mean,
should never really make assumptions anyway, which is such a good segue to the next movie.
yeah,
Yeah.
that is a good segue, actually. So that was Wrong Turn 6, Last Resort, which is a reboot or a sequel to the first one if you want to cut out the others, which honestly it wouldn't kill you. Or will it? All right, so moving on, we did include, if you're just tuning in, because of the way that I edited this,